Hello and welcome to Post to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. I recently did a video asking your guys' opinions on a topic. The topic was, how can we improve each of the 5 bottom teams from last year? So there was Colorado, Vancouver, Arizona, New Jersey, and Buffalo. And the idea was that you guys would give me your answers in the comment section, and I would take those comments a week later, which is now, and read some of the best answers on camera and really see what people think about each of these teams. Now this is going to be a series that I plan on doing, so it's once a week. I'm going to call it Fan Friday. And it's where I give you guys a question each Friday, you give me your answers in the comments, and then the next Friday I read the answers on camera, rinse and repeat, the cycle continues. So this will be number 2, although the first one wasn't called Fan Friday. This is the second video of the series, and it will be called Fan Friday. And there were 236 comments on the last video for the last question. So I can't read them all on camera. I just don't have enough time, and the video would be 2.5 hours long. So I can't read all the comments. I'm sorry. I did pick, I think, like 15 or 16. I'm going to read through them now, give my opinions on a few of them, and really just share what other people think back to you guys, and have you guys discuss it in the comments as well. So starting off with Nickname Gaming, he says Arizona's close as they recently picked up some good depth forwards and a possible #1 goalie, Antti Ranta. If their young forwards came through and they add a good veteran defender, they could contend for the playoffs. I love this. I totally agree. Arizona is finally making the right decisions and moving forward, and you could see them contend for a playoff spot. I truly believe that in the upcoming season they could sneak in to a wild card spot. It's going to be interesting. Joshua says, Sabres are in no way a bottom 5 team. I'd put the Hurricanes, Panthers there instead of the Sabres. The Sabres are way further ahead of these 6 teams. Miles ahead. I think you missed the whole point, Joshua. The bottom 5 teams were from last season. It wasn't a subjective thing. Those were the bottom 5 teams from last season. That's how to improve them for next season. So even though you missed the point of the question, I do believe that the Sabres are in a good position moving forward. Connor Russo says, Vancouver. First, they need to get rid of the Sedins for some picks or prospects. They have 1 year left, and if I were the Canucks, I would want to get at least something for them instead of losing them to free agency. Very good point. Although the Sedins just came out recently and said that they'd love to stay in Vancouver. He goes on, that will open up some cap and roster spots for some of their youth. I totally agree. They have tremendous youth in Vancouver, and it would be nice to see them in the lineup. The Canucks are not going to win now, so moving some old guys out and leaving some room for some of the younger guys will definitely be a step in the right direction. Totally agree. Robbie says, Buffalo, need defensive presence. They need to get someone to help out Robin Lehner from the puck going in past him. They have a lot of good forwards in O'Reilly, Eichel, Okposo, and Reinhart. They just need less goals against them. Yeah, Buffalo did address some of their defensive issues in the offseason. I think they got Scandella and Nathan Beaulieu, and I believe someone else. I can't think of his name right now, but they did get someone else. Liam C. says, Colorado, either trade Duchesne or keep him. If you keep him, sign a good enough winger to play with him. Maybe a player like James Neal or someone who can score goals. Varlamov I still think can be #1, and Bernier is a good backup. Their defense is okay. Barry and Johnson are good right-handed defensemen, but they need to sign a veteran defensive defenseman who is solid in the back end. I think they could also look to get some forward depth. He goes on with New Jersey. I like their forwards, Johansson, Hall, Henrique, Palmieri, all good players. They have good forward prospects in McLeod and Hischier and also Zaka. On defense, they need a #1 defender. They need to upgrade their top 4, if anything, because Schneider is 31 and the Devils aren't getting any better. They might want to look at a possible trading partner. Schneider is a good goalie, but they need to trade him or sign a #1 defenseman. New Jersey's going to be really interesting this year. They made some changes in the offseason. It's going to be really crucial to see how well Nico Hischier does. It's going to be so exciting to watch New Jersey for the first time for me in a while, so I'm looking forward to that. He also chimes in on Buffalo. They're set at center with Eichel and O'Reilly. Okposo is a good player and a winger. Kane is also good when he is playing. Sam Reinhart is good as well. I like the depth forwards of Gergensen and Palmville. On defense, Ristolainen is a good #1 defenseman. Beaulieu, Scandella, and Bogosian round out the top 4. They have a good top 4, and Georges and McCabe are good 5-6 defensemen. I'm not so sure Lehner is a #1 goalie, but Johnson is a good backup. I think they need a better goalie or some defenseman prospects. Yeah, like I said earlier, it's going to be interesting to watch Buffalo. They did make some defensive moves. Buffalo's always one of those teams that you look on paper and you're like, okay, they should be okay. And Leonard's numbers, even though they had the most shots against them last year per game, Leonard's numbers weren't that bad in comparison with their record. So I can't blame Leonard for everything, and I think you guys have made a good point here. Buffalo needs to solidify their defensive lineup before they can get any better and really help out Leonard in the back end. Finessed Shots 4 says, Colorado, trade Duchesne and Landeskog for a top 2 defenseman and a first-round draft pick. Arizona, call up star rookies and trade Duclair and a first for an already established top 6 forward guy. Vancouver, trade Sedins and a first-round pick for a franchise center and wait 1 more year for Demko to get ready for the NHL. Then trade some bottom 6 forwards for a top 4 D. New Jersey, trade Hall and a first-rounder for Tavares and Boychuk. Can you imagine that trade, an interdivisional trade of that magnitude? Tavares and Boychuk going to New Jersey? Wow. Buffalo, trade a few bottom 6 forwards for top 6 forwards and also trade for Peter Budaj. Why do you want Peter Budaj in Buffalo? Just curious. NHL 17 Drafty says, Arizona, relocate to Quebec and start to try to come out of the rebuild. Draft a defenseman this year and then next year make a playoff push. They need to get a vet for leadership such as Iginla. Sign him cheap. Trade could be Strome if he doesn't turn out for a different prospect or forward and defenseman. I don't think the answer to Arizona getting better is to move to Quebec. Although if they did, I wouldn't be that upset. I understand your point, but moving a team's location physically doesn't necessarily make them better. But then again, if you look at Quebec and Colorado, Quebec moved to Colorado and then won Stanley Cup. So I don't want to say you're wrong. I just don't think that success has anything to do with a different location. Ethan Gaiman says, Vancouver, get rid of stupid Jim Benning. Boom. John says, Devils, need to get more D help in front of Schneider while he's in his prime. Well said. Coyotes, young prospects look good and they need to continue developing. Canucks, trade the Sedins and rebuild, plus make Horvat the captain and future face of the team. Maybe not next year, but in time. Avs, complete rebuild. Trade Duchesne and Landeskog, but keep McKinnon and build around him. I like that one. Well, I shouldn't say I like that one. I would be interested in the possibility of Duchesne leaving, but I would like to see Landeskog actually stay in Colorado. Sabres, make Eichel the captain and send Kane away for some D help or prospects. Kozar's son says, Buffalo is already fixed. Hashtag playoff bound. Bold prediction, but I like it. Dave says, Colorado, trade Matt Duchesne. Having him in limbo hurts him as a player and hurts the team. All the information I have points to him being moved before the start of the season. Vancouver, trade the Sedins. The Sedins' time has come in Vancouver, and it is time for them to be dealt for prospects and picks while they chase dreams of winning a Stanley Cup with a contender. Time to strip this team to the studs. Arizona, sign some help. The Coyotes are a young team, and you would hate to see them lose quality prospects in order to win now. They have a ton of cap space, and there are lots of veterans out there that could fill complementary roles while the kids find their stride. Well said. New Jersey, figure out where they're going. Is New Jersey a team on the rise, on the decline, somewhere in the middle? New Jersey is a team with some good players, but a little thin on talent, especially on the back end. They need to figure out exactly where they are and what they are before they can make any moves. Buffalo, don't do anything. Buffalo has had some injury problems with key players over the past couple of seasons that affected their ability to score goals on the ice. They have talent to make the playoffs right now. It's just a matter of them icing a healthy team for the season. New head coach Phil Housley should add a spark as well. Very well said, Dave, on all your comments. Appreciate you leaving that. Morgan says, Canucks need to get younger and stop signing older guys. They are trying a win-now concept and aren't rebuilding properly for the future. So to get better, get draft picks and play their young, inexperienced guys in the NHL so they can get experience. Momo says, make the Avalanche better. Good one. And the best comment on the video, I agree with every single opinion they had on each of the teams. It comes from Spencer. He says, Colorado, sign Yager. Vancouver, sign Yager. And the list goes on for every other team, sign Yager. It might have been made as a joke. Maybe it was serious. I kind of took it seriously because Spencer is right. If you look at all of those teams, if you add Yager, +1 for every single one of those teams. It would improve all of the teams. It's the correct answer. It got the most likes on the video. I think it's at 83 likes because it's true. Like, it's so simple and so true. Somebody sign this man, please. For the love of God, sign this man. Yager needs to play in the NHL. He's 44 or 45 or whatever he is. He needs to play till he's 50. He needs to do it. So like I said, there are 236 comments. There's just not enough time to read all the comments on camera. I want to keep this video a little bit short, but I did read all the comments. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the opinions and the objectivity. It's tremendous to see you guys contributing to the community like this and providing your answers to the questions. So speaking of questions, here is the question for next week. Number 1, what city do you live in and what country do you live in? Who do you cheer for? And most importantly, why do you cheer for that team? Why are you a hockey fan? Maybe is the better question. How did you get into hockey and why do you cheer for the team that you cheer for? It's important because everybody has different stories. That's one of the reasons why I like doing the mail time videos. People write in and they tell their stories of why they're a hockey fan and what brought them to this lovely sport. I want to hear from you guys. What teams do you cheer for? Why do you cheer for them? Why are you a hockey fan? And where are you from? It's interesting to see people in Minnesota who cheer for New Jersey. I always find that interesting to see people where they live and who they cheer for, because it's not always a hometown person cheering for a hometown team. People like teams from different spots. That's just how it is. So that's the question. Leave your answers down in the comments below. I really look forward to hearing all of your stories, and I look forward to reading them next week on camera for all of you at home. Thank you very much. If you like this video, hope you can hit the like button. If you like this series, definitely hit the like button. If you are new to Post to Post, hope you can hit the subscribe button and help us grow. And we will see you in the next Fan Friday. Adios.